What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. I think there's a huge conversation missing with the market right now concerning the Chaos Impact Special Editions, and I missed it on last Market Watch, so let's go ahead and get into it. I think when we look at what Konami did, they brought in the 6 Samurai Link, they brought in the Scrap Link, 2 actual imports from Link Reigns pack promos. They hit the nail on the head and did a really good job on what they need to fix with special editions. That being said, thanks to this, there will be an actual coolant on the market for the unlimited printing of the set, something that was sorely missing from Rising Rampage, and I warned you guys would be missing. How did I know? Well, the promos, while the Marincers are cool, they just weren't that chased after, and you can see the prices even now. Vendors are literally going, please, just take it from me. I'm done. I don't want this around anymore. They want to cut their losses, and special editions aren't the cheapest thing to ship. They're pretty bulky in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and they are selling this to you at $55, less than $5 a special edition, less than $2 a pack with the promos. They're literally just saying, take it, because there's not that lotto scratch-off chance at a prismatic rare. You're not getting an actual good chance at pretty much anything besides Apollosa, which is shorted. So when you look at Chaos Impact, shorts aside, we're going to see a coolant on the market with the unlimited run that was sorely missing from Rising Rampage, and I think that's a really good thing overall for the market. So when we're looking at Chaos Impact today, please keep that in mind. Use your own big brain whenever you're looking at timings and what's going to happen with the market. There's going to be pulls, people just chasing that link, willing to sell their pulls, but you're not going to get the chance at the prismatic out of this, helping hold first edition values, and I believe you even get first edition when you're entering events such as regionals. So prismatics will continue to appear on market, and we see maybe one of the cheapest points for Masquerena, as she does fall under 370 here on TCG Player. Pretty interesting. We see Pyro Phoenix falling all the way down just under 200, and the other two falling even further. So the question is, will either of these end up like the trap card from Rising Rampage, the Dragon Trap, where you see it fall down to the price of a box? It's pretty interesting to see the actual fallout of the new rarity as well as we watch. Abomination Prison was shorted. Now, it didn't really get any results at YCS London when we're looking at it, but at the same time, I was testing with it. I do enjoy the true Jericho variant. I have a lot to learn. I just don't think it's that up there within the meta game. It's cool. It's nice, it's a decent engine, maybe it's not figured out yet, but I just don't feel like it's going to be worth its price point, even shorted. Masquerena, pretty necessary. I think a lot of duelists instantly found out, hey, this is pretty darn good whenever you're linking up through certain things. It still has its very niche restrictions, but better, like I said, I misread it when I first thought it had to use its effect to get that immunity. It's a pretty dang good card. Blue Tang falling very far down past what a lot of people thought. It's kind of stuck in that rogue status. And Seifert. Alright, this card performed better than I thought. Herman Hansen is a mad lad with the combos, and he managed to top 16 London with this card. But we also saw Asian Persuasion use this in his Light Swarm build. So it's one of those cards that I thought had great potential. Would it perform right out the gate? We're seeing it perform right out the gate, which is a really good sign for it overall. Guard Dragons aren't close to dead, and this is really proving itself. I don't think Pyro Phoenix was played too much, despite a ton of Salamangreats topping. I need to actually take a look at the list and sit down with it. Striker Dragon, Rockets kind of failed to show up, so even shorted, we see this price falling down. In the Ultra range, it's still a decent amount packed, and not many players are chasing after it, despite it being in a structure. You would think a lot more people would be after it, and like I said, something has to give. You can't have $60 playset after $60 playset for an archetype, even if they're all secret. Yeah, the Unchained became pretty cheap quick for these slots, and they might even continue to fall thanks to the special edition. We'll have to see where the bottom out is. I called the bottom of this towards $5 thanks to the show. It's already under. Your first Link 5, ladies and gentlemen, besides the world's prize cards. And yeah, you see how quickly Chaos Impact's already fallen out, how we still just don't have a very expensive card for it outside of the prismatics. The set really didn't have a ton to offer, and what it did have to offer is towards the $30 mark. It's pretty impressive. I could see certain cards going up further just for vendors to try to make their money back, or the market try to play itself, but yeah, it's so weird where it's at right now, with several 30 pulls and everything else being really freaking cheap. Just such a bad estimated value for pulls. Rising Rampage, we see Apollosa sitting towards 380, and it got a quote-unquote buyout. Now, people who brought this to me, I want to tell you to always check both and then check your reasoning as well. TCG Player had that bonus bucks back sale just a couple of days ago, which y'all really blasted my TCG Player link in the description down below like never before. It's the most times it's ever been used in a singular day, so I definitely want to thank you. We see it towards $62. And over here on eBay, oh, there's still a $55 copy, but it's just one. So what we're actually seeing is the market say, well, hey, it's going away over there. I better go ahead and get my copy over here. So for people that missed out on the sale and didn't get those bonus bucks back, you're starting to pay more, and it quickly matches at 60 on eBay. But the buyout is mainly because that sale happened, and then the other part of the market is going, hey, wait, I want to get mine. So that's realistically where it's headed, and we'll see if it'll cool back off or not. I don't know that it will, though. Like, while it is kind of a rush for them right now, I think it's kind of deserving of a $60 price point. The price of a box is a healthy sign for a card, and this is really what Rising Rampage has to offer the most. You see Marinsa stuck in Rogue tier towards here. Gizmek is probably the other most meta impacting card from this set. It sits towards 20 right now. It's commonly floated between 15 and 20. It's on the up right now. And then the rest of the set is just cheeks. It's worthless, like outside the prismatics and that. So I could see Apollosa really digging her heels in the sand here for this one. Infernoid's got a little bit of a baby buyout as we see Decatron up towards 12, and we see it, we have one copy under 10, and then it's towards 12. The rest of Infernoids is still relatively affordable. You still have to search for the Void cards, such as, what is it, Void Imagination. I have to do this every market watch. I forget to pull it up outside of the Noids. So we see this is still relatively affordable towards the $5 mark. It's not like it's insane $8 to $12 pricing. And then you have Void Feast is the trap, and you have Void, what is it? Not Into the Void. Where's our Yu-Gi-Oh? Void Vanishment. There we go. I know. Slow Yu-Gi-Oh boomer over here. We see it still towards the $7 mark, just up a little bit. This is typically what people chase after first beforehand because Cross Souls had a lot less cards out of it. I think that Infernoids are really good, but they still face their consistency issues, which is why you don't see them top in mass. But this is the best they've ever done and the best Lair has ever done. Top 4 at an 1,800-man event. I know that it's top 4 to YCS before, but this is by far its biggest achievement, and people are pretty excited about that as an option. Again, just a lack of reprints. I don't see where they would reprint it. Somebody recently asked me in a comment section, I was like, Devyati got its reprint, and if Konami was focused on it, more Infernoid stuff would have popped up around then. I think you're kind of stuck paying these kinds of prices for it, so kind of hunt around and find the best deals that you can, maybe even in person for Infernoids if you're truly interested in it. Chaos Dragon Levianir never got a reprint, and it's still chilling out on TCG Player, whereas on eBay, it's actually up. So if you're hunting down Guard Dragon stuff, this is actually a price I would kind of suggest to go ahead and get it at. Under 25 is pretty good. So using my TCG Player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra besides cards you'd already be buying. If you're hunting down Guard Dragon stuff, I would definitely still have access to Levianir. I think it's a really good card, and you see that it is way more on eBay. But also, sorry, we'll get to Sky Strikers in a second. You can wait right there. You won your event. Calm down. Romulus is a card that I've noticed a lot of really good players playing. It's not only Herman Hansen. I peeked in on Cody Angeloff playing on Dueling Book, you know, quite the name, and he was also testing a build that used Romulus for his Guard Dragon. So I think this is something that's actually understated outside of Dragoonity, that is a way that they're starting to continue to play Guard Dragons, and you'll want to have access to yours. So be sure to get this sooner than later. You don't want to end up in a place that you regret with Romulus. Now, looking at, yeah, I know, we'll get to it, Orcust and Sky Strikers, the most exciting things. Sky Strikers didn't see much movement, and what I'm most interested in is that the Battles of Legends Secret is almost the same price as the Megatons, literally $1 more. You can pay $3 more and get a secret playset. There can't be too many quantities of these compared to the Megatons. The Megatons, you know, have so many openers that it's crazy, yet there's only 39 prices here, and you see 40 prices for Battles of Legend. This is actually kind of mind-blowing to me that the Megaton quantities are selling out for the meta stuff so fast because the meta has stayed the same for so long in some senses of certain decks that so many people just finally said, all right, I'll pick up my engages. It's gone up consistently over time, and now on market, the secrets are almost the same price. So I would just spend the $1 more. Spend the $1 more. get the secret rares if you're truly after this deck. You know it's safe until January, so if you're playing in regionals throughout the winter and this is your deck of choice, you're safe for a bit. That being said, Orcus took up half of the top 32. Actually, 15 slots. One was mislabeled because it was Lunalite Danger, I believe. But we see this take up 15 slots of the top cut. Galatea ultis are really cheap for that. Whenever we see Thunder get hyped in Dodge a ban list, it's towards 40 for Colossus and upwards. Galatea is really cheap for the ulti. I might get that sooner than later, especially with how few are available. And it's funny that Dingirsu is almost the price of an ulti Galatea, because this is the last card Konami has to sell for this. I was thinking, like, if they don't hit Orcus, what are they selling? Dingirsu is the last card they truly have to sell for Orcus in terms of reprints to keep it around. Just weird stuff. Final cards I wanted to mention are World Legacy Monstrosity. I would actually consider picking this up right now at its price point, because looking at it, we have the new set coming. When we look at Mystic Fighters, there's a whole archetype based on 9s, and whenever we even get a release for something new, people scramble for old support. And this is definitely something I think a lot of people are overlooking. It's spiked towards $5 multiple times. It's a card I would want to have access to personally if I was looking at how Mystic Fighters is approaching the level 9 support, and there's future level 9 support even past that. So definitely something I would pay attention to and want to have access to before, you know, one day gets reprinted in something like a Megaton. I would definitely want it as the sets are coming out instead. Also, World Legacy Secession Prismatic is something I would just have a playset of in my back pocket. Whenever I look at this card in Prismatic, oh yeah, it looks nice, and I get that, you know, there's some searchability to it in certain combos, but just having access to this and Reborn in the same deck whenever I'm playing Grand Maju, it makes me feel pretty dang good to be able to do wacky combos that send Maju to Grave and Revive. So even if I'm not playing it as searchability, having Revival is something I think that will see its way floating back into the game just generically, and I would want to have access to World Legacy Secession along the way, and I don't think they're going to reprint it again anytime soon unless it just randomly pops up in some structure deck. So Prismatic, highest rarity, that's what I would have personally. Thank you for watching today's Market Watch. I know there was a lot to cover between market theory and how things will pan out, and YCS London and what happened there with certain duelists. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below of everything going on, how crazy it is right now, and what Coolant prices do you actually expect to see versus what may actually heat up within the set within the coming weeks. And how do you think Unchained will actually perform moving forward? I know it was first weekend. Sometimes they get the jitters and people figure it out later. I'm personally having a little bit of a tough time playing it and like keeping it consistently in my head, but that's because I played 3 games with it, and I just think it's a little overpriced for what it is. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation, and we'll see you next time.